Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, July 31st already? July 31st, 2025. Whew, guys, this summer has been flying by. This year has been flying by. I don't know what time is anymore, but I'm glad to share the next, it has to be a little bit less than an hour with you guys because I have an appointment at 2 o'clock and I got to get ready for that. So I'm going to have to cut it a little bit short, but we'll have pretty much the normal amount of time for today. Last Monday, we had to miss the session because I was at my sister's house, spending some time with her family, my parents, the cousins got to hang out together. So that's where I was. Sorry I couldn't do an episode on Monday, but that's what I was doing, spending some time with family. But today, I could tell you all about my time in Connecticut, and I do have some packages to unbox as well, so we'll get to that. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio-only version on the podcast. Hopefully having a good drive today on the way home from work as you're listening to this. Thanks for tuning in. And for everyone else watching this later but not live, this is the #1 drive time radio show for runners that's not at drive time or on the radio. All right. Mark Del Combra says, my kid starts school next week. That's insane. Anyone's kids going back super early? That is very early. My kids still have 3 weeks, I think, till school starts. And even that still seems really early to me. But I do feel like we had like a little bit of a break in the summer. You know, I feel like a phase of the summer is over. Mustache Runner, who's nearby, says almost a humidity-free run this morning. It wasn't anywhere near humidity-free. It's just less than it was, and the temperatures were really cool. We had storms yesterday. Mark Johnson says, with all the heat recently, looking forward to running in only 80 degrees. Yeah, so we had storms yesterday. There were storms on the East Coast and in Chicago. So we had a little bit of a delay getting back, but we were able to make it back without having to get delayed in the gate, you know. We were already on the plane and then we had to kind of wait for a clearing in the weather. But we made it back and the turbulence wasn't too bad. But in the wake of that, it's going to be cool for the next couple of days, I think. So hopefully that means a good fitness check time for everyone. You know what I mean? You could see how out of shape are you? Is it the heat and the humidity, or are you just not fit? So I guess the next couple of days we'll figure it out. And Kevin Ankrum says, hello, Kafuzi Run Club, and happy last day of summer grit to those who celebrate. Yeah, grit's been going on. I've been following Robbie's adventures, picking up trash on his runs. So that's been fun, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying grit as well. Scott Finger said, finally cooled down in Chicagoland today. It was like easy mode this morning. Yeah, it was great. It was great for me today. I've been not running that much. Part of it because I was at my sister's house, and I didn't want the running to get too much in the way of some of the vacation schedule. And I was trying to be nice to myself, because I've learned from using the Runna app and also from training with coaching in last year as well, that like I think the best thing for me to do is when I'm traveling is to not stress out about missed workouts and stuff. Just take the L as a matter of speaking and just getting whatever runs you can. But I also picked up a sinus infection like right before we left. I was worried that it was COVID, but I tested negative. And it feels just like a regular sinus infection. I'm feeling better now. I still kind of have some symptoms, but like I always felt like I could run relatively fine, but just had a sore throat, and then nose was doing weird things. And so now I'm taking like just some Sudafed and stuff, and it seems fine. So hopefully today's run, which I felt great, is a good sign. I feel like I'm on the mend from the sinus infection. And hopefully that's like the only, touch wood, hopefully that's the only like little hiccup that I have for the rest of this training block. Scuba Sun says August 14th is the return date for his kids. I think mine are in that like right around the 20th is when they start, I think. Yeah, because the next 2 weeks they'll have like band camp. It's not a sleepaway camp. They just have band practice for 2 weeks. at school, and it's not very long. And my kids are both in band, but they're at different levels of band. So basically, I'm going to be shuttling back and forth to the school all day next week, 2 weeks, which is fine. It's exciting for my younger daughter because it's their first time doing it. So they'll be kind of getting back into the swing of things for school, but yeah. But they still have another week after that before school starts. Alex Gonzalez has a question. I've been struggling as I slowly increase mileage while I train for marathon as my runner's knee starts to act up. Is there a couple of go-to exercises you do to keep injury away? I have I call it a mobility routine, but I do like body weight squats, side lunges, lateral lunges, and single leg deadlifts. And I do it as a circuit and body weight. When I had runner's knee, Bulgarian split squats really felt good. And then basically working through my knee to do like a single leg, like a pistol squat, like that felt good. And I felt like it was strengthening things that needed to be strengthened. I don't think I could do a pistol squat right now. Maybe I could. But those are the things that I would do. And for me, when I was running and I had runner's knee symptoms, the best thing for me was to just kind of shut it down as soon as I started feeling symptoms. So, you can try to increase mileage while on it as much as you want, but I feel like that's maybe not good. I would also suggest, at the time when I was dealing with runner's knee, going to see a physical therapist wasn't really an option. So if you can see a physical therapist, that's going to be your best bet, and that's going to be the main thing that I recommend. Mark says, he finally gets good weather, but the AQI is 165 right now. It's brutal. The air quality wasn't great in Chicago either, or Crystal Lake anyway. I think ours was like 150, or it was 150 where I was looking at it. So I don't know. At what level is it unsafe? Is it unsafe to run in 150? I don't know. Cosmopolitan Michael says, I'm running Beach to Beacon 10K in Maine this weekend. Just noticed Mance, Young, and Simbasa are running it too. Whoa, you should try to race them. That's interesting that Clayton Young is running that one. I was just thinking about him today because I was starting to think about going to Japan for World Championships. So interesting. Man, good to see Bia Simbasa getting in there. That should be fun. A star-studded weekend. Very cool. And good luck on the race this weekend, too. And Kieran Pearson says, hey, folks. Hope everyone's well. I ordered a couple of shorts from Steven Scullion's 262 brand, or 262 brand. Has anyone ever used his products? I have not tried them before. You'll have to let us know if you like them. All right. D0 Aperture and Vanessa Martinez said that I need to neti pot. I've never used the neti pot. Does it work? I feel like I don't know. That kind of the neti pot scares me a little bit. I don't know. But then again, I love the nose Frida for the kids, but I was certain that every time I nose Frida the kids, I got a sinus infection. My kids didn't really like the nose Frida that much, but if I'm comfortable with nose Frida, I should probably just use neti pot. Does neti pot work? What's the consensus in the group here? And Martha says, cowbell for my 32.52 4-mile race PR and 25-minute 5K PR in that race. Yeah. It's been a while since I hit the cowbell. There we go. That's the right button. Great job, Martha. And I think you won your age group, right? Did I see that Instagram post right? I think you won your age group on that one too. So also coming in with the podium win there for the age group podium. Congratulations, Martha. E-Time Mary says, early thoughts on the Takumi. I brought the Takumi San with me to Connecticut, but I didn't have a chance to run in it because I was not feeling great. I felt like I should probably spend an extra hour and a half, 2 hours sleeping and just not. The days were already pretty eventful, so I didn't want to overexert myself. I felt like I need to chill out. And because a lot in the wintertime when I get a sinus infection, it'll bother me for it'll be a problem for 2 weeks and then bother me for another 2. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't be like that for a Sydney Marathon. So I'm trying to just take it easy. I did 9 miles easy today. I did put some strides in there, and that felt good. But by the end of each stride, my breathing was like, oh, maybe this sinus infection still is kind of bothering me a little bit. But so I don't know when I'll get to run into Tsukumi-san. All right, D0 Aperture says, for air quality index, anything over 100 is probably not great. Well, and we were at 151 in Crystal Lake. That's not great. When there were all those wildfires from Canada, what were the numbers there where they were telling people not to run outside? What were the numbers for that? And Sean Regan says, make sure you use distilled water if you use the neti pot. Okay. Vanessa says the neti pot works. Steam also helps. Steam. How do I need steam when it's already like so? Well, it's not humid today, but it's been so humid. I don't know. Yeah, Kevin Ankrum says, neti pot works, but it's disgusting. And don't use tap water unless you want brain amoebas. See, I feel like maybe I don't need to accelerate my healing. Maybe I'll just let my body take care of it on its own. I don't want to worry about brain amoebas. But I guess I got to get distilled water. Senior Grandmaster Runner Dan says, I really enjoyed your Rebel 5 video. That's my next shoe I'm going to purchase. Well, I'm glad you like that video. I like the Rebel 5 a lot. It doesn't feel dramatically different from Rebel 4. It is different, having run in them back to back on the same day. But I just really, it's everything that I liked about Rebel 4. Just a little bit more of it in a way that doesn't seem excessive, you know? All right. A lot of people talking about track. Adam says the 10,000 is tonight. You got Wayne, Carissa, Elise, Taylor, Jess. And on the men's side, you got Grant, Nico, Graham, Woody, Drew. Yeah, I've been kind of like not paying as much attention to track this year as I normally would. But I feel like I'm definitely going to be tuning in. I know it's hard to tune in this year. I don't think I have a USA TV. I know I don't have a USA TV membership, but I think if you're like I have a login because I think because if you're a USATF member, don't you get a login? But not necessarily a subscription to the TV. I don't know. And then the rest of it can be watched somehow. I remember here. You know what I think? I don't know why they didn't do this again, but Sidious Mag did a thing where it's like, here's how you watch it. Day one, you know, I need that because it's still hard to figure out how to watch track and field sometimes. I don't know. And for like the pre-classic, I was just gonna rely on YouTube feeding me stuff so that I would eventually see all the results, but it never did, and so I felt like I didn't catch up on things that I should have. And I also feel like I have not been getting a lot of Diamond League in my socials this summer. So I don't know what that's all about. Maybe because it is picking up that I'm not super into track this summer. I don't know. But I think that this weekend will help rekindle the excitement. All right, Sunny says AQI of 0 to 50 is good, 50 to 1 to 100 is moderate. 101 to 150 is unhealthy for sensitive groups. And then 151 to 200 is unhealthy. Okay. So I guess today that was not a great idea to run. But the area that I ran some soccer fields and stuff. There was lots of camps still going on. So the kids were still outside. But it was 151, right on the border between unhealthy for sensitive groups and unhealthy. But I guess the overall the point is, wasn't great. What is causing it now? Are there wildfires again? Someone in Minnesota said that they had a problem. Is it Canada wildfires? And Frank says the pockets on the 26.2 pocket half tights can fit like 20 gels. They're nuts that way. The quality isn't perfect. There were some loose threads. Okay. I feel like, though, that it's addressing a definite need in the community. More half tights with pockets. Marathon runners need to be able to store gels, which, by the way, I went to go and buy. My daughter wants a handheld of her own for running. And so I wanted to buy her one. And then when I was there, I was going to buy some Precision Fuel gels. And then gels are so expensive now. I guess the last couple of times I bought gels, I haven't been paying that much attention, but gels are expensive. The Precision Fuel gels, if you bought a box, they were over $3 a gel. Martins these days are like $5 a gel. Even Goo Roctanes, which is the one, there's like a chocolate coconut one that I like. Even those are over $1 a gel. They're closer to $2 a gel, even if you buy a box. And then Science and Sport, which I've been trying to find an alternative Science and Sport, they're coming in at about $2 a gel. They're when I first started eating Science and Sport, they were $1 a gel if you bought a box. Now they're double that. And yet they're still a pretty cheap option. It's frustrating. It's crazy. Yeah, D0 Aperture says, when we were talking about those fires, when everyone was like calling other people out for running during bad air quality, it was like 140 to 170. So we're back there. We're there again. Soy says Twin Cities AQI is currently at 166. Okay, and Mark says Mill City running cancels at 160. So we're at bad. Oh boy, we're at bad air quality. Okay, thanks for everyone for letting me know. Mark Mayer says, I think this is still from the Canada fires. I'm in Irving Park now and it's hazy and smells terrible. I don't know why that's so funny. The smells terrible part is funny. Yeah. I mean, I felt like the temperatures were cool and there was a strong breeze and it felt great. But I was like, the air is something up. It's thick. But maybe it was the humidity. I thought it was humidity, but I don't know. Terry Furlong says AQI is 18 in Cambridgeshire at the moment. I feel like I said that right. Did I say that right? I don't know if I did. Sean Regan says, I was hoping to watch tonight and tomorrow, but can't watch with no membership while they hide the 10K and 100 meters behind the paywall. Well, the 100 meters that are now no longer behind the paywall. And we got to talk about Fred Curley for a second. But, so everyone was talking about like, this is wild that the 100 meter final is behind a paywall. And so now it's still on USA.tv, but as long as you have to have an account, but you don't have to have a membership or like a subscription to the TV part. But I think it's for the men's, it's sponsored by Nike. And then for the women, it's sponsored by some other company that I can't remember what it is. So they've brought it out from the paywall. So you still have to log in to watch it, but you can watch it for free now. So that's nice. But the 10,000 meters, yeah. What's the weather going to be like in Oregon tonight? Because remember last year, everyone was concerned about the start time, and then they had a hydration station out there in the middle of like lane 5 on the home stretch, or was it the back stretch? I don't remember. There was a I didn't see it live. But remember how people worried about that. And then like there was a lot of last minute scratches and stuff. It was weird last time. All right. And so Adam says that it's on NBC for free Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Is that what we're on? Not Eastern Standard Time? Eastern Daylight? I don't know. Cosmic Pinnacle Michael says it's usually on USATF TV for the first 2 days, and then Peacock and NBC day 3 and 4. Okay. All right, yeah. Tim Lofton says, got a sub for today and Friday. And I think it's like, is it $13 if you were to sign up and quit after the weekend? Or is it $13 each night? I think it's $13 each night. And maybe someone can correct me on that one. And Tim Lofton says, YouTube will have replays available the next morning. I know, but like I said before with the pre-classic, like I relied on that to keep me up to date, and it did not do a good job. And so I feel like I would like to try and watch it. But I have a feeling it's not. Is it tonight or tomorrow? Tonight. Yeah, tonight it starts. Tomorrow's the 100, I think. I don't know. Debating whether I should do that tonight. I'm behind on so much work. I don't know. We'll see. I'll tune in for days 3 and 4 for sure. Okay. And Soy says it's Canadian wildfires that's causing the AQI problems. Minnesota's been dealing with it the last few summers. That's crazy. Is anyone in risk from the tsunami warnings? That's blowing my mind. Hopefully everyone's okay. And Karen Pierce said, that's crazy regarding gels. I just ordered a box of High Five Aqua Gels, and it only cost 22 or 23 euros. Okay. I tried it. I'm trying a new brand because they were cheap. They were less than $2 a gel. And they're called Chronos. Has anyone tried those? There's 30 grams of sugar, and there's a tropical flavor that is... Oh, and what I like about it is that it says peanut-free and nut-free right on the packaging. So that's nice. That's something I can give to my daughter. Not that I imagine it'd be a big deal for a lot of companies. Maybe it'd be a problem with goo. I don't know if they have peanut butter flavored ones. But it's nice to just have that. And so I bought a bunch of them just to see what those are. And I thought, my daughter doesn't really need gels. If I get her a handheld, that'll give her pretty much all, for the distances that she runs, that'll give her all she needs. But just something to keep an eye on for the future for her. And by the way, so I did run a couple of times in Connecticut. Once I ran with my daughter, which was fun / scary because where my sister lives, the roads are really small and people drive really fast. And so they're not close calls, but every car going by is kind of a close call. And then the next day I took my daughter and my nephew, they're both about the same age. They're only a few months apart. I took my nephew for a run. So there's 3 of us going for a run now. So that was pretty cool. And he runs from time to time. He's a lacrosse player, so he runs to stay fit. And I was asking him about his running. And he's like, it's mostly faster sprinting stuff, like conditioning for lacrosse. But in the off season, he does run. He ran in a pair of really clean 1080s. And then the 2 of them did kind of drop me at the end of the run. Not that I got dropped, but I just was making it an easy run, and they were getting excited because the run ended on a slight downhill. And so then they started gapping me by a little bit, and I let them do that. But yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Louis says about tsunamis, Tijuana beaches did get a warning, but nothing happened. Okay, well, that's good to hear. Yeah, and Martha says there were no serious consequences from the tsunami, even in Alaska last time I checked. Okay, that's amazing. That's hard to believe, but amazing. Ooh, okay. Adam says for the weather forecast for Eugene, 85 degrees for the high at 4 and 5 p.m., 83 at 6 p.m. From the times I've been in Eugene, like it's so comfortably cool during the mornings. And then it stays really nice until about 3 in the afternoon. And that seems to be like the hottest part of the day until the sun goes down. And so like it gets real hot in that stadium. But once the shadow of the stadium kind of casts on top of the track, then it cools things down quite a bit. So it's nice. But if you're on the wrong side, if you're sitting on, usually I think it's the backstretch side, during the day, that gets so much heat, which most people aren't there unless they're there to watch pole vault. But yeah, it gets really hot on that side. But that side is also where the 1,500 meter starts. And so I feel like that is a fun side to get tickets for. And Kevin Ankrum says, I'm in Oregon, about 40 miles north of Eugene, currently 76 degrees and partly cloudy. AQI is 10. Envy of the nation right now. Nice. Sonny says, for buying gels, if you have a running store that gives you a discount for buying gels, electrolytes, etc., in bulk, that's definitely the best cost saver. I mean, I normally just get stuff from the feed because it's very convenient. I'm not sponsored by them. I was an ambassador for a short time, and then I think they just fixed the glitch and stopped sending me stuff, which is fine because I wasn't posting very much for them. And then, but I do buy stuff from the feed because it's convenient. And I usually buy like a 30 pack, that I buy the box, and it saves a little bit. I don't feel like it saves enough when you buy 30 at a time. That's the thing. I feel like it should save more. But I do like going to running stores to buy gels when I want to test a bunch of different things. Because that's a fun place and a fun way to do it, Stevie76 says, running shoes are named after natural disaster. Saucony has shoes named the Hurricane and the Tornado. And Brooks has had a tsunami. What's Saucony Tornado? Are we sure? I'm not familiar with that one. Let me see if I can find that. Saucony Tornado. Oh, there were multiple versions of this. There's a Tornado too. You can get it on sale at Walmart right now. Or at least Walmart.com, so it's probably like a reseller. Yeah, this is an old shoe. Okay. And then Brooks had a tsunami. Brooks Tsunami? That's a weird name. What? Okay, I'm looking at this thing. And I'm looking at the picture on running product reviews. I don't know if that's a real website or not. I don't think it's a real website. But the photo looks like AI made it. Kind of. I don't know. It's weird. Did anyone ever run in the Brooks Tsunami? It looks like an older shoe. I'm trying to think, are there any other shoes named after disasters? I don't feel. I feel like a common thing is like Sonic or Boom or Blast is a big one in the Asics family. But yeah. And then there's lots of cloud named shoes, but not disaster. Like a Norris, and you should name one a derecho. Go Running with Oliver says, at Fleet Feet in Dallas, they give you a free gel when you buy 9, so it's cheaper than buying from the manufacturer. Oh, that is cheaper. That saved you quite a bit. Yeah. Ooh, and Vanessa Martinez says, at least I can get a 10% discount when I buy 10 gels from REI. Good way to try new gels or chews. Oh, you guys have found a lot of ways to save some money. I like that. Richard Ribber says, a Wave Rebellion probably doesn't count. No, I don't think Wave Rebellion does. No, I see where you're going, though. Yeah. And Louis says the 10-9. Well, let's talk about the Hoka 10-9 because that was the disaster. Yeah, maybe. All right. Okay. Let's get to some packages I have for today. I think I know what these are, but I'm not sure. This first one is from Tailwind. I think I know what it is. I'm afraid, guys, that I meant to bring a water bottle down here so I could taste this with you guys. But I'll show it to you guys and we'll have to taste it next time. I will be here on Monday. So next week is also going to be another single live stream day, but I'll do Monday and not Thursday because next week I'm going to Detroit. So 2 weeks ago I was in Iowa. Last week I was in Connecticut. Next week I'm going to Detroit because I'm going to do that Detroit Classic. All right, so this first package is from Tailwind. I feel like they put in a lot of stuff in here. Upgraded inside, tastes better outside. Tailwind says, may the wind always be at your back. Nice. Oh boy. So this was the main thing that I was expecting. Strawberry recovery mix. 20 grams of protein, carbs, protein, and electrolytes, which is nice. 20 grams protein and 34 grams of carbs. That's a nice ratio. And then a lot of magnesium and potassium and 500 milligrams of sodium too. So it's got everything you need in here. So I'm looking forward to this. And I'm very curious because I do not like strawberry shakes. I do not like strawberry milk. But I do love strawberry ice cream. So it kind of doesn't make sense why I don't. But it'll be interesting to see if I like that flavor. And then they also sent me a rapid hydration pack, kind of like a noon type of drink. Which this one does have 12 grams of carbs in it too, as well as 320 milligrams of sodium, some potassium, and magnesium too. So if you want a little bit of sugar with your electrolytes, which I do, these are nice. I've had these before. I enjoy them. And then Dahl Watermelon is a permanent flavor now, so they sent me a bunch of this, which is perfect. Oh. They even wrote my name on here. That's nice. But yeah, this is 25 grams of carbs, 310 milligrams of sodium. So this is great for the bottles. I love the flavor of this. So that's good. It worked. The timing is great because I just finished a canister of Gatorade powder, which I finished after just finishing a bag of Scratch. So I'm like, I've been churning through a bunch of drink mixes this summer. So it's great to have. And then they sent me a bunch of sachets of it, which is good because I'll be traveling soon. And so these are nice to bring with me. I can bring a little strawberry recovery mix. The chocolate recovery mix is really good. The vanilla one's the best flavor. And then, I think we're going to have a whole bunch of flavor testing on Monday because I've never had this before. Blueberry lemonade. The colors look great. The blueberry part scares me a little bit. They did send some vanilla recovery mix, which is my favorite one. All right. And then salted caramel is also pretty good. I like that one too. For the recovery flavor. So we'll try a bunch of stuff on Monday. But that's what's in that bag. Vanessa says, I love the Tailwind chocolate recovery powder, great after a long run. I would say my rankings for the Tailwind recovery powders are vanilla, chocolate, salted caramel, and then we'll see where the strawberry one goes in there. Tim Lofton says, I've used the Tailwind chocolate recovery mix for several years. I really like it, especially if mixed with a bit of cold brew. Now you're thinking. Because the one thing that is not in any of these is caffeine. So a little bit of caffeine for a little pick-me-up. I think that sounds nice. Terry Furlong has a question that I don't think I can answer. My hypertension medication prevents me from having sodium and potassium. It's a bit of an issue on long runs. Any ideas for an alternative? I think you should. You need to talk to a registered dietitian for that. Because I can't answer that question for you. But if you find whatever that recommendation is, you should let us know. Or maybe not. Maybe everyone should see their registered dietitian for that kind of information. Sean Reagan says, I use that watermelon carb mix. Tastes great with a tiny bit of weird aftertaste. Now I'm going to have to list. I'm going to have to taste for that. We'll see. And I agree with Martha. She says to Terry, you should submit that interesting question to Fuel for the Soul. They solicit and read listener questions. That's the nutrition YouTube channel for Believe in the Run. I agree. That's who I would ask if I had that problem. Sean Devlin's here. Better late than never. Good to see you, Sean. And Adam is drinking a smoothie right now. Fruit, yogurt, chocolate milk. No added powders. Fruit, yogurt, chocolate milk. I mean, chocolate milk has a good ratio of proteins to carbs as well. I tell my daughter all the time that, like, just if you can, drink chocolate milk after your run. If you can't, like if you have a long drive from after your run to get back home and you don't want to have milk sitting in the car during the summer for a long time, keep the water and the powder separate and then mix them after the run. That's a good way to do it. Yeah. So I've been encouraging my daughter to drink chocolate milk, and I do drink a lot of chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. It's really good. But sometimes the powders are nice too, especially like traveling with those little packets. But I do also like a big old bag of it. I don't know. I know no added powder sounds nice, but I do like having the powders. But fruit, yogurt, chocolate milk sounds good. I should tell my daughter about that. She likes hers to make herself a good smoothie. All right. Let's do this other one from Path Projects. I do not know what's in here. I'm guessing it's hats, based on the size of it. But I got to tell you, I think I've told you guys about this. I've been in a bit of a quandary. I don't know how to dress myself anymore. Because my entire wardrobe is running clothes and athleisure, and sometimes I don't exactly want athleisure. Path Projects has been really helpful with that. With their shorts, the pants, and they've been making up like a short sleeve button-up shirt that is kind of like perforated. I think I showed it to you guys. I love that shirt. It's really good. All right, we got some hats. I like this one. It feels like a shorter. It feels like a couple of different hats in one. There used to be a shorter brimmed hat that Path Projects made. I still have it. But this material up top is a lot thinner than the material for that one. And this font reminds me of the Non-Elite a little bit. It's not the same font, but it's kind of like that. So it's kind of like a Path Projects version of that, plus the cycling hat. It's called the Saguaro. But this material is very thin. You could see through the mesh on the sides. And it's got Velcro, or hook and loop. I don't know if it's actually Velcro on the back. But yeah, Path Projects on the inside. This one will get a lot of use, but this one will also get a lot of use. Is this white? Is this mint? Is it like a light blue? I don't know. I'm calling it white. It's called, the color is Glacier. It says it on here. This Glacier. So like whitish blue. The same saguaro. I like this one a lot. This one will get a lot of use. I've been loving white hats. My favorite is that bandit one with all the holes on the top. And it's got a little bungee cord, which makes it easy for people with ponytails or buns to get in and out of the hat. This one does have hook and loop on the back, but I feel like this is going to be a nice hat. I like this one. Mark Meyer says, love Path. The 5-inch shorts with the zipper pockets are awesome. Need to get some of their half tights. Here's the thing about the Path Project's half tights. They feel a little bit warm to me. And it's not that they're thick. It's a material that's nicely stretchy. It's very comfy, but in like the, in the sweatiest part of this summer, I haven't been reaching for them. There's something about them that makes them feel like they're a little bit clammy. Kind of like the material is different than the Rabbit Speedster shorts, but for the same reason that I sometimes hesitate to reach for that one, I had been hesitating to reach for the Path Projects one. But they do have a lot of pockets. And when it's not like super, super hot, they're very pleasant to wear. But it's just like some of these hottest months. Although to be fair, the hottest months, I've been shying away a little bit from the half tights generally. And I've been using, my go-to this summer has been a pair of 5-inch Soar shorts. They have only a little zipper pocket in the back, so there's not a lot of storage. But I've been trying to tailor my running this summer so that I don't need a ton of storage. And those 5-inch shorts have been great because they're not as hot. But if things continue to cool down, I will need to reach for some more heavily pocketed half tights again. Daniel Estrella says, what hats do you find similar to that Bandit one? I love them too, but you can't throw them in the wash. Learn that the hard way. I've been throwing mine in the wash after every run. So mine have been fine. That's worked out for me. There isn't a lot that's similar to that in terms of like the ventilation on the top of that hat. And maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. But I run in that one a lot. I run in the non-elite hat because that has similar material as a saguaro, where it's very thin and it's almost kind of like see-through because of the perforations that are in there. And then I run in, what else do I run in a lot? CLA hats a lot because those are also very thin and they wick moisture away. Richard Smart says, finally able to check in to the greatest runner information outlet known to the modern world, the Kofuzi Run Club. Checking in from Harker Heights, Texas, where it's a humid 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Richard Smart. You guys always have the worst temperatures. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you again. And Martha says, CLA hats for the win. Somehow, one style of those is the only hat I look good in addition to fits my head well. Yeah, I mean, they make a good one. You know, I still haven't had it because I was going to do a test in the Takumi-san and that $100 CLA hat that they sent. I didn't have a chance to run in it yet. But maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll try it for tomorrow's run. Sean Devlin says, CLA Go caps are the best. Yeah, you know, every time I interact with CLA, they're like, hey, we're going to try this new, or like, we'd love to send you some hats. I'm like, great. I love CLA hats. And they're like, which one fits you the best? And I'm like, I don't know. I never remember which one it is. Sean Devlin says a Kofuzi Run Club CLA hat would be the dream. All right, I'd be interested in that. That'd be a lot of fun, I think. And Zachary James says, what trail shoe would you recommend for a do-it-all on trail? Speed Goat? I'd like a trail shoe just to have in case I do decide to run trails. I think Speed Goat, it's kind of expensive, but I feel like that's the right option. Some might say from Hoka, the Challenger is a better kind of like entry-level do-it-all, but I feel like that shoe is very firm. It's almost boot-like to me. I like the Speed Goat more as kind of like a utility knife kind of shoe. I'd say, yeah, that's a pretty good choice. When I think about trails, I do typically think about a lot of Salomon shoes, but I feel like if you are, they make the gravel shoe right now. Is it just called the GRVL? I think something like that. They make a gravel shoe that has more of like a road shoe last up top, but it has chunkier lugs on the bottom. And I feel like that's probably also a good place to look. I haven't done a lot of trail running in that one though. I've done a little bit of like dirt road stuff on it, just to test it out. And it was nice though. It was really nice. It certainly can handle being run on dirt roads. I feel like it has enough chops underneath to handle some pretty intense trails as well. So that could be another good option. I typically have been liking the Trabuco Max. I haven't tried, I mean, Asics has been proliferating in terms of how many trail shoes they make. And they make a lot of interesting things. I just haven't been running enough trails to really dive into it. All the different Fuji Trail, Trabuco Max. And I feel like they're underrated because it's Asics and they don't have a lot of American signed trail athletes. But I feel like they're making a lot of very accessible trail shoes that like would be good for the majority of trail shoe buyers. But they just don't get a lot of attention, it seems. Adam likes the Catamount and the Prodigio. They did send me the Prodigio to test, and I am looking forward to testing that one. It's still in the box though. Haven't had a chance to get it out. Maybe this fall. We'll see. And Johnny Johnson says, pains me to say it, but the Peg Trail is always a versatile road to trail shoe. It is really good. And I also feel like, should that be called the Peg Trail still? You know, I feel like, does that really feel like a Pegasus to you anymore? I don't really know. Martha says, I still remember when Trabuco won our ugliest shoe contest way back during the early pandemic. The shoe was gross. But Trabuco Max 2 was also very fun to run in. I liked it a lot. So, yeah. I was just thinking about that shoe yesterday. Because yesterday I started watching Last of Us on the airplane. We had a lot of time on the airplane because we got delayed. And we had to sit on the tarmac in LaGuardia for 2 hours. And so all right, that's my timer. I got to wrap up after the story. So I started watching The Last of Us, and then I didn't realize I'd clicked the button to start season 2. And I was like, I'm really confused. This is kind of, I don't know what's going on here. And then after watching that for 45 minutes, I realized I was watching season 2, episode 1. And then they did have season 1, episode 1, and I started there. And so, but that had me thinking back to the Trabuco Max, because the regular Trabuco Max didn't have it, but there was a collab version that had like that kind of fungus, you know, the fungus that's smart. That fungus was the theme for the Trabuco Max version 1. I was like, that shoe was ahead of its time. We weren't ready for it. We were mean to it. And maybe we were right to be mean to it, but it was not of the right time. And now I'm like, I bet you if that shoe came out now, people would go crazy for it. But yeah, I think about the Trabuco Max somewhat regularly. It's really weird, but yeah. Yeah. All right. We don't have time for it, but people are talking about, someone want to talk about what happened with UTD, and Eric was along with me where we're like, what's going on? Alan said something about it. And we're like, what's going on with UTD? Alan says they cut the cross country and track teams 3 weeks before the semester start with no notice. That's really weird. All right. And Adam says track and cross country and other non-revenue sports are going to be the victims of all the NIL and new NCAA paying athlete rules. I feel like that doesn't have to be. I feel like that's like if you don't play by my rules, I'm taking my ball and going home. It feels vindictive to me. I don't know enough about it to really know, but that's my gut reaction feeling to it. And that's a shame that will happen to University of Texas at Dallas. Oh, man. That's a bummer. All right. Sorry to end it on a bummer today, guys. But I will see you guys on Monday. I got to get ready for my next call. I'll see you guys Monday. For those of you, I guess we got the universe never gives with two hands. Balmy temperatures for the first time in a while, and the air quality is not bad. So be careful. Check the AQI before you head out there, guys. Be safe for your long runs. And if anyone's going to be out in the Detroit area, Detroit Classic is next week. I'm going to be there. I don't know if Herm's going to be there. I got to follow up with him. But I'll be there. I'm going to run a 5,000. If you are there, I'm not going to run with a camera. So if you guys want to grab a little bit of video, help me get a little bit of footage of the race, that'd be appreciated. So even if you don't want to race, come on out, say hi. I think it'll be a fun evening. So that's where I'll be. But before then, we'll taste a bunch of this Tailwind stuff, and I'll see you again on Monday. All right, guys? Bye. Thanks.